Hi guys, hope you're keeping well. This is me just doing my video of what I think was the best 15 of the 2021 Six Nations. We can all agree it was a cracking tournament, just unfortunate there was no fans there, but of course that's the way it is in the current pandemic. Anyway, let's get started. Here is my team of the tournament. At 15, I have gone with Stuart Hogg of Scotland. It was a bit of a competition between him and Bryce Doolan. Bryce Doolan didn't have his best game against Scotland, where he obviously messed it up at the end and allowed Scotland to get the chance to get the winning try, which we did. But overall, I think Stuart Hogg has been the most consistent 15 of the tournament. Obviously played at 10 against Italy, did okay there, but overall, I think we all agree his best position is 15. The only match he didn't have his best game on was against Ireland, where he struggled under the high ball a bit. But aside from that, he's been very solid. Played very well in the first two games against England and Wales. Was very solid against France as well, apart from his yellow card. And he's led Scotland very well as the captain this tournament as well. Very solid and very potent from fullback, making 438 metres, the third most amount of metres made in the tournament. And I think overall is definitely going to be the Lions 15 now, going forward. At 14, I have picked Louis Rhys-Zammit of Wales. Louis Rhys-Zammit has been an excellent newcomer to the championship. I know he made his debut last year in the friendly against France, but in this tournament he's really shone and blossomed as a rugby player, and he looks like he's got the full package really. I know he's got great pace, great footwork, a good kicking game on him as well for a winger, but he's also got an excellent brain. He's always looking for work, and he's really impressed with 4 tries this tournament, and his performances have been mostly very consistent as well. Some could argue maybe his defensive side of the game could sharpen up a bit, and I'd say that's a fair enough argument, but on the whole, he definitely deserves to be the 14 of the 2021 Six Nations. At 13, I have gone for Robbie Henshaw. Even though Robbie Henshaw had played most of the tournament at 12, I think he had an excellent game at 13 against England, and as far as definitely guaranteeing his place in the Lions test team as far as I'm concerned, I think he'll be in the 13 or the 12 shirt. But no, he's been excellent at both 12 and 13, made 65 carries, been very consistent with his performances, defended excellently, and been very dangerous with the ball in hand, as I said. And I think he definitely deserves to be in this team, so I've picked Robbie Henshaw at 13. At 12, I've gone for Gaël Fickou of France. Gaël Fickou has really taken on the role of being France's kind of defensive captain. He's taken on the Jamie Roberts kind of role with that, in terms of being part of the Sean Edwards defensive structure. I think he's done very well. He's been very potent in attack from 12 and also on the wing when he played on the wing against Scotland and in the second half against Wales. I think he really came into his own and produced his best performance against Ireland. One especially defensively, where he made one key tackle on James Lowe, where he got James Lowe over into touch, and then towards the end, he really marshalled that French defence when Ireland were going through the phases and couldn't break them down, and he played a key role there and has been pretty consistent all tournament, it has to be said, so he deserves to be my 12 in this year's championship team of the championship. At number 11, I've gone for Duhan van der Merwe of Scotland. Who else? He's the top try scorer of the tournament, 5 tries, showed himself to be a fantastic player with ball in hand, a deadly winger, something like 40 tackles broken in this tournament, most of any player in the championship. He's got pace and strength, a good step on him, scored some really good tries, one important one against England and 2 against France. His best matches with those 2 games. He scored 2 tries against Italy as well. Some could argue he was a bit quiet in the other games, but I think he's, in terms of try scoring, but I think he did make his impact where he could, and is definitely R11 going forward, and I think has landed himself a plane ticket to South Africa, providing the Lions tour goes ahead, of course, so it's Duhan van der Merwe at 11. At number 10, I've gone for Matuhu Jalibert. Halibert has been a very good playmaker for France this tournament. He's really stepped up when Romain Ntamac's been out injured. I had my doubts and thinking Ntamak was still ahead of him, but the way Halibert's played, he's definitely putting his hand up to be the France 10 going forward. I still think Ntamak in the long run will be just ahead of him, but I think Halibert's proved he's a very good playmaker. He actually did show at times he's a good foil for Dupont in terms of taking the pressure off Dupont sometimes. I think I had my doubts about him being able to do that, as I've said previously, but I think he did well. He's kicked the most conversions of any of the goal kickers, and he's just been generally very good, orchestrating France's plays from 10 very well, kicking well too. So he deserves to be my 10. Obviously, notable shout-outs goes to Johnny Sexton, who had a very good tournament, but Halibert just pips him for me. So Mathieu Halibert is my 10. At number 9, oh, who else? Mr. Antoine Dupont. Another great tournament for him, apart from against Scotland, but I thought he was a bit quiet by his standards, even though he threw a great pass, which led to that Bryce Dulin try. But on the whole, I thought he was fairly quiet that game. Wales at times kept him quiet as well, but on the whole, he's been excellent all tournament. 5 tries, assists, and just his general support play and his ability around the pitch. He's definitely fast-tracking himself to becoming the Messi of rugby union, and at the moment, it's hard to argue with that. Just what he does, and he just always looks like he has such good time with the ball. Got a lightning pass on him. Very intelligent, very crisp with his box kicking as well. It has to be said. That's one area of his game I don't think gets talked about enough. But I would have him as my number 9 without doubt. At number 1, I've gone for Wyn Jones. Wyn Jones has been fairly consistent throughout the championship. Man of the match against Ireland in the opener. Scored a try against Scotland in the second game and has been generally pretty good the rest of the tournament as well. Albeit one can argue he's got a face that forwards love to try and take out, with Xander Fagerson and Paul Villemzy getting red cards after making contact with him around the head area. So, yeah, but no, on the whole, he's had a good tournament, and I think the standout one for me in terms of consistency in level of performances, so I'd have to go for him. So it's Wyn Jones at number 1. At hooker, I've gone for Julien Marchand of France. He's someone who's really impressed me with his line-out throw in this tournament, considering I'm still not wholly convinced it's the biggest strength in his game as a hooker. I've had my doubts about him, but he's proved me wrong. 52 line-outs won by France this tournament, and only 4 lost. I understand Marchand wasn't throwing for absolutely all the line-outs, but he has been very good in that department. Also a very good carrier around the pitch, works hard, good jackler as well for a hooker. I think he's really impressed. Notable shout-outs to Ken Owens, who, whilst he maybe didn't start the tournament the best, but he got better as the tournament went on. And with him, I think he's definitely going to be the Lions hooker in the summer. Again, providing that tour goes ahead. But for this year's team of the tournament, it has to be Julien Marchand at number 2. At number 3, this could be a bit of a talking point, but I've gone for Tag Furlong. And I know he started the first 2 matches on the bench, came off, did okay in both of them, but he was really just coming back to fitness. But the games he did start, he's proved himself to be pretty good, hasn't he? Did well against Italy, did well as well against Scotland and against England. Made a very good sidestep on Finn Russell against Scotland, and against England, a fantastic offload, which helped in the build-up to Jack Conan's try. And overall, his scrummaging's been good. He's definitely sealed his spot on the Lions tour and as the Lions number 3, in my opinion. And it's in my team of the tournament for 2021 Six Nations. At number 4, I've gone for Ian Henderson. Ian Henderson has been very good this tournament. Really stepped up to the captaincy, I thought, even though Ireland lost against France, but Henderson had a good game that day and led from the front very well in Johnny Sexton's absence. He's had 6 turnovers this tournament. He's carried well, he's tackled well, worked hard at the breakdown, been very solid in the line-out overall, and been a good defensive operator in the line-out. Certainly against Scotland, he was part of the line-out forwards team that dismantled the Scottish line out there. So I think he definitely deserves to be in the team, and well done to him. And another one who I think is on the plane for the Lions. At number 5, I've gone for Alan Wynne-Jones, the Wales captain, who again has been, for the most part, very consistent this tournament. I understand there's maybe some arguments he's getting a bit old. He's maybe given away a couple more penalties than you'd expect him to this tournament, but on the whole, he has been still very solid. He's made 80 tackles overall from what I've seen, and he's been just generally consistent enough. He's led from the front, and I think he just shows he's as fit as ever. Might be slightly past his peak, but no, he's an excellent rugby player still, and I think he will be captain in the Lions in the summer. And he also makes it as my number 5 for this year's team of the tournament. At number 6, I've gone for Tadhg Beirne of Ireland. This player is considered to be a big contender for player of the tournament, and there's no arguments for me. He's been absolutely fantastic. The most turnovers out of any player in the tournament with 10. He's been very consistent with his performing, his ball carrying, his tackling, his ability with the jackal, and also his ability with the choke tackle as well have been excellent. And I think he's been a bit better as a back row than a second row, even though I know he's played second row for 3 of the games, but 2 of the games he was the back row at, he was excellent. So I put him in at number 6, and he definitely deserves to be in this team. So well done, Tadhg Beirne. You are number 6. At 7, this is going to be a cause for contention because there were outstanding candidates in Charles Olivon and in Justin Tipuric, of course. But I have gone for Hamish Watson, who has been outstanding throughout the whole tournament for Scotland. 67 carries, many turnovers as well. He's been a havoc at the breakdown. His work rate around the pitch, the impact he makes with his carries, and his low centre of gravity has proven a problem for teams as well. So I think he definitely deserves to be my 7, but very close with Charles Olivon and Justin Tipuric, who've both had excellent tournaments as well. But for me, it's Hamish Watson, who's been the outstanding 7 of the 2021 Six Nations. At number 8, this is another position where there's a lot of contenders, but I have gone for Taulupe Faletau. 66 carries, 368 metres made, and he's just been generally very consistent. The only drawback, I think, was his yellow card against France near the end, where he got caught out for a stupid offside after repeated infringements in the red zone. But apart from that, no, he's been very good, I think. Other outstanding contenders were, of course, CJ Stander in his last Six Nations for Ireland. He had a good tournament, and so did Gregory Aldrit of France. But I've gone for Faletau, especially his performances against Ireland, against England, proving he's definitely back to his best or near his best, and he's done very well there. So well done to him. He is my number 8. And now on to player of the tournament. And it comes down to 2 players for me. 1, Antoine Dupont, and 2, Tadhg Beirne. And I have just narrowly gone for Tadhg Beirne as my player of the tournament. He's been absolutely fantastic in the forwards. I think mainly just Dupont's performances against Scotland and Wales, where he did well against Wales. He had his moments in both games, but on the whole, I think compared to his normal high standard, he was fairly quiet by comparison. But I've gone for Tadhg Beirne just because the whole tournament he was fantastic, definitely on the Lions plane, and fully deserves to be the player of the tournament for me. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much for listening. Much appreciated. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on what you think is the team of the tournament, and I'll catch you later on.